Greetings and salutations, all you beautiful individuals. It is another rep of League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you fine, feathered individuals for the full recap of the mid-season invitational, as well as some other fun stuff. And we'll go right out of the gates. This will probably go down as a bare minimum top 3 MSI finals of all time. And I'm even taking arguments, I might say the best finals of all time, because this game 5 between Hanwha and BLG, just game 5, look at that, ignore the rest of the series, one of the most back and forth games of all time. And it was less about one of these squads making omega throws and just exchanging blows, somebody making a sick play, catching out Gumayushi, Zayu surviving forever. It was high quality, not somebody flubbing on the biggest stage.
Oh, this was fantastic. This is, to me, removing nostalgia, looking back at a couple of the past MSIs and where you feel about them. I think the actual just quality that we got here is the best that we have ever seen at this midseason invitational. And the game 5, where, as you talked about it, it wasn't about someone's huge mistake. Oh, this throw, this missed opportunity, whatever type of thing. It was simply outplay, shining moment on top of shining moment to come through in this series and be the ultimate champion at the end of the day, which of course is Hanwha Life, stepping away from this event as the reigning champions and restoring power to the LCK.
It's again, a testament to the double elim format, because obviously Hanwha got kind of pumped by BLG earlier in the tournament, and there's all kinds of accolades that come with this event to varying degrees of, impressiveness, the whatever grand slam that Zeus and Zeka now have of winning every tournament because they added first stand like last year. So it's kind of okay, sure, you won MSI, Worlds, and the LCK. That's the more impressive part, and throw in the MSI. But how about the bounce back in this series from your boy Kanavi, 2-time MSI champion Kanavi, because what was he, 1-17 in games 2 and 3? Jun was completely gapping him, and we know when Kanavi is off, he is really off. But he locks in the trundle for game 4, completely turns things around. I don't know what was said in between, but the mental hurdle to overcome mid-series, I feel like it is a forgotten part of this series.
And that's something that's been missing from the impressive, tool set, skill set that Kanavi brings to Summoner's Rift, has been that mental fortitude, that strength within a series when things go against you. How do you bounce back? How do you dial it up? And I'm not talking about going from series to series, because we've seen from, series to series, week to week, he has been able to find that type of form again, whatever. But to be able to do it within a best of 5, do it when it matters in a final situation, that was something I don't know a lot of us thought that Kanavi had in him. And so to see this performances through game 4 and 5, and specifically being that guy in the clutch moment, the biggest of moments of that game 5 to come through, absolutely is a big growth point for him.
It's a classic example. I'm pretty sure he lost every single 50-50 smite in this series to Jun, up until the final Baron of the tournament that he ends up securing, because he kind of gets ignored. And that's the one that we'll have a lasting impression on, that the highlight will be played over and over. You can't really mention this version of Hanwha Life without bringing up T1 in some capacity. And of course, it is Zeus who earns MVP honors for these finals. Game 4 and 5 doing the real heavy lifting on that one with the Swain and the Dr. Mundo. But this combined with, the Doran trucks already hanging out outside of T1 headquarters probably makes it sting a little extra more to see Zeus capturing his elusive first MSI title.
It certainly does sting. And, again, separate note, those Doran trucks outside of T1 headquarters are absolutely outrageous and a very embarrassing and stupid thing to have going on for the T1 fan base. But all that move aside, you certainly are going to feel that pain of seeing Zeus winning this championship, seeing Gumayushi win this championship. But I'm going to tell you the angle that, again, it's not all about who has left and what you're missing out on type of situation. I think this is one of those ones where even the T1 fans should be celebrating Hanwha Life being the victor, being the champion of this event, because this is a significant milestone in those guys, those former T1 members' career, winning a major tournament, winning an international event outside of the T1 organization, that T1 banner. It means a lot for these guys because that is one of those big questions that always was around that whole era of T1 and the young guys with Faker, was whether it was simply the effect of the unkillable Demon King being there to shepherd them along, the biggest and most famous storied organization within Korea being where you are calling home. Is that why you are able to achieve this success, excuse me? No. The answer is no. When you are looking at guys like Zeus, like Gumayushi, they are the difference makers. They are the reason why you had some of that success, and the reason why that success is now being shared with another organization in the LCK of Hanwha Life, achieving something that none of the other LCK orgs have.
And it's, Guma had one of his best series since he's joined Hanwha in the finals, 100%. And obviously there was a lot of crossover. Kanavi playing against former teammates. Viper used to be on Hanwha Life. There were a lot of storylines here, but it's, to me, absolutely time. We got to separate Hanwha from T1. I know there's these ex-players, but this is Hanwha's story, and they have proven that they are a top-tier squad. The insane turnaround from 10th place to now. They already beat T1 to even qualify as this first seed, and now they've run through to capture this MSI title, and they are elite in their own right. And for BLG, I mean, yes, the Golden Road comes to an end in this new 3-split format. The Golden Road is basically impossible anyways, but I don't think you're really leaving this tournament feeling bad about BLG in any way, shape, or form.
No, you shouldn't. I think there still is going to be the obvious disappointment and sadness and frustration without being the ultimate champion at the end of this, knowing that, again, that is the expectation. That is the goal, the sights that are set for a squad like BLG. And when you have players performing at the level that Knight has been at throughout the entirety of the last 3 months, if not 4 months at this point, the way this year has been going for him, it is going to feel a little bit hollow to step away from this event without that ultimate title. But I think that this is a BLG that has very much so, after kind of some questions heading into this year, re-solidified themselves as one of those top elite options within the very, ultra top tier of any event that's going to roll around.
Let's not forget also that we were 10 minutes away, maybe, from a disaster tournament for the LCK, because we were close to T1 getting eliminated by G2 in pretty dominant fashion, and pretty close to Hanwha getting eliminated by Lion Gaming in 4 games, following that up by already losing to BLG, and we'd be telling a very different story of the LCK not even making finals in front of a hometown crowd. And that's not because Hanwha choked on the day. Lion Gaming, we got to give them all their roses, all the credit. They just got a little impatient in Game 4, not once, but twice.
It's a tough situation because you're going to be frustrated because this is going to feel like other situations where you've been pretty close. Or you know what? You didn't have a lot of expectation. You got something great. It just wasn't excellent at the end of the day, and that's what you needed to get by a squad like Hanwha Life. That wasn't the case. Lion was right there. This was simply a situation of not being familiar enough and not being experienced enough to be in this upper hand controlling situation against someone with the expectations like a Hanwha Life, and letting it slip away in these type of small moments that it is. And once you let that go in that Game 4, it's even harder to get your hands back on the wheel in Game 5 and control this series as Lion.
But listen, like the series as a whole, you have some heroic Elder Dragon snakes in Game 1, some head-to-head straight up outplaying Hanwha in team fights in Game 3. Like, again, this series wasn't Hanwha not taking Lion seriously and putting some duds up on the Rift. Lion absolutely stepped up, and, we're competitive. Again, it feels bad to say, yeah, we lost at a Game 5 heartbreak, but they proved, combine this with the G2 series, that the LCS right now can compete internationally, and we needed them to prove that at this event.
This is different than a couple of the other ones in the past, and specifically the one that comes to mind is looking back on FlyQuest when they were rolling up against the LCK, right? Rolling up the these wacky picks that didn't look like, again, kind of like a G2 series in the Kled. Do you guys even know what this champion does? Do you know how to play against this type of situation? And that was your advantage. This was just straight up. This was, we're playing our comp. You're going to play whatever you want to, but our best is better than your best on the day. And that was almost the case for the LCS in that series. I think there's absolutely, certainly going to be some sad and frowny faces on the side of Lion Gaming for a couple of hours, but I think those should be quickly going away and leading into this summer split of the LCS, feeling very good, very confident about yourself and the performance that you put on for the LCS.
Which is a strange feeling for me, to be leaving an international event and going to the next LCS split and going, am I optimistic? Well, I don't know what this feeling is going through my body, because yeah, you could throw in Team Liquid for the 6-0 against EU out of the LCS, and like hopefully there's a level up from the rest of the squads for Lion coming back and taking all that they have learned and gleaned. And you even had praise from Gumayushi and all these Hanwha guys saying, I don't know if they were surprised, but like speaking to the level of Lion Gaming. And I know they're usually nicer, these guys. They need to throw the West a bone, but I don't think they were making it up this time.
Yeah, and you add in how Lion formed. You look at Team Liquid's run a little bit differently, understanding the situation that you are in what was that play-in stage, and having a monster like T1 occupy a spot there. But other than that, you did what you really needed to do at this event, and I think that's something that you can take back into the LCS. It's strange because normally you can, I've been in a similar-ish type of position before, but that's because I'm all propped up on insane amounts of hopium and copium heading into that next split. This just feels like genuine positivity about what we have seen from Lion, what we've seen from Team Liquid, and how you can take that back into the LCS, and how that hopefully sets you up to put together the best 3 squads you can for this World Championship that will be hosted in North America.
And again, just one note on Hanwha, coming back, they were down 2-1 against Lion, down 2-1 against BLG. It was the Swain out of Zeus that kind of bails them out in both of these Game 4s. But if we were sitting here talking about Lion beating Hanwha in Game 4, no LCK team in the finals, both of them eliminated by Western teams, all of a sudden we'd be talking about this being the worst international performance by the LCK in maybe ever.
A worst international performance with very real consequences of removing a spot at the World Championship from the LCK and gifting it to the LCS. We would have had 4 LCS teams, which, again, quick little detour from the genuine optimism and hope and good stuff about the LCS. Sending 4 teams would not have been a good look for the LCS as a whole, no matter how confident I can be about even a 3rd squad from the LCS. But a 4th, I don't think that was going to work out so well. So very much so, disaster avoided on both fronts, I think. The LCS and the LCK front in that regard, with Hanwha coming through.
Yeah, how is the 4th seed from the LCK going to win Worlds if you don't even get a 4th seed? It'd be impossible.
Of course, the T1 method wouldn't be able to work in summer.
Yeah, and so yes, T1 saying thank you, Hanwha, for number 1, redeeming the region, and number 2, making sure we don't have to go on too crazy a miracle run to at least qualify for this World Championship. But yes, all credit to Hanwha for things coming online for them, and now we're talking about a lot of these guys making names for themselves outside of the T1 shadow, and even guys like Zeka and Delight, you need to start putting at least on these all-time lists for their respective roles. I mean, Zeka has won everything you possibly can, and Delight, I mean, we're talking the better part of like 5 years that he's been a top-tier elite support.
It's difficult, I think, at the end of the day, because it's one of those ones where yes, it is another one. Yes, it's a different one that adds through. But kind of, again, the secret of the T1 formula they don't matter as much as a world championship. And so I think that is still going to obviously be where that hunger, that desire, that target and goal is going to be for this Hanwha Life squad. But I think you're right. When you are looking at purely historical, statistical point of view, and you are tracking this thing, it is one of those ones that changes a couple of the conversations around the greatest of all time, where you rank within your position and all these type of things. And for guys like Zeka, it does matter picking up these type of things.
Now, Hanwha BLG, that was all fine and dandy over the weekend. But the real finals, of course, was the debut of League of Legends Classic. A lot of the old head unks on the Rift. Soaz, Skara, Doublelift, Wei Zhao going even further back. Ambition was there, and playing on this new old League of Legends Classic map. This was Season 3 era they were kind of putting out on the Rift, and it's got a bit of that remastered flavor. There were a little more pixels than I remember in Season 3 action, but guys had newer skins, which was a little confusing. But this event as a whole, I'm giving it 6 thumbs up. It was absolutely perfect. A taste of nostalgia with all these old guys, and seeing, you know, these different picks come in, the different items. This feels like the beginning of a new era in terms of these events.
I'm going 12 out of 10 type of situation.
That's
on
pretty
this.
good.
This was phenomenal. I really think that this was about as big a grand slam as you can hit out of the park here for Riot Games and League of Legends. It's wonderful. Not only all the unks coming out, but how about the broadcast side of things and revisiting the old history that we had going back, again, a decade plus, seeing Shocks, Deficio, Jack, all these guys, and going back through that history that we have had with them. It kind of is, you know, again, looking like at kids on your TV at this point. And you go, oh yeah, that's because they were kids at this point,
Yeah.
pretty much time who you've grown up with. But then again, you get to the game, as you mentioned. I think that a lot of it is phenomenal. I don't necessarily agree with having some of the more modern or newer skins be available in it. I think that's a little bit of a clash that I don't quite agree with. But as far as what we got out there on the old Summoners Rifts, the unks, Doublelift, styling it up, this was a very fun event, very exciting, and it's one of those ones where I think that this, again, opens a whole door of what you do as far as either competitively, for fun, whatever. But this is another tool that you can use within the Riot Games showcase to help and entertain and prop up different events and showcases, whatever. I'm all on board on League of Legends Classic being here.
Yeah, and one quick note on the unks. Levi being at this event was hilarious. This dude retired like 6 months ago, I feel like, was still playing pro, which was hilarious, and he ended up losing.
We got to get some rules on that. That's not fair to be throwing a guy a little bit too fresh in the scene, right, back out there. We got to have a little bit of gray hairs on our boys stepping back into the Rift.
But I will say I'm down for maybe a little zoomer on the Rift, who obviously was like probably 4 years old when like Season 3 came out. Throw them in there. They have no idea what old League of Legends was. But this really just does feel like the intro, and we already have now to kick off LCS Split 3. We're going to have a TSM versus CLG Classic. We don't know the rosters yet, but you best believe Hotshot GG, Doublelift's going to be back. We're going to get a Reggie sighting for TSM? That seems bold to do.
I don't know about that one, Chief. I think Reggie's quite distant at this point.
Is there another mid laner they could use? I don't know.
Maybe there is. Maybe it's the same guy that was maybe in talks to play in Doublelift's tournament before all this League of Legends Classic stuff came through. Unfortunately, unable to attend that event. I think this was absolutely going to be one of the guys that they should be trying to get at. And there's no better region than the LCS to take this to that next level and to use it again in that show match type of format. All on board with this. I think this is a really wonderful thing, and very happy that the fans get to enjoy it.
But again, just the beginning. Like, the opportunities that you can have with this, you know, they picked a kind of Season 3 era. I don't know the full details on how they chose it, but you can be picking different eras, and why not have this at every international event? On finals weekend, throw in one of these show matches with different players, and like, you can have a legit system going where maybe there is actually value to these trophies, because these guys were scrimming ahead of this event and actually taking it pretty seriously.
Yeah, that's the thing that doesn't exactly erode away no matter how long you are away from the competitive stage. If you were a former competitor, and a lot of these guys were top tier former competitors, you're a competitor for life. You're locked in. You want to challenge, you want to battle. And if you think that these guys aren't going to take it just as seriously as back when, if this was a fresh release type of situation, you're sorely confused, because this is absolutely one of those things. And I think that can be taken in that type of angle. We've already heard about, Cadrill has had talks with Double Lift. They've had all these type of talks behind the scenes type of things. Who's to say we can't get a Las Ratones 2.0, the old version of Las Ratones, stepping on out into the old League of Legends out there in League Classic. There's lots of things available for something like this, and I think that we are, again, only opening the door to the possibilities that exist with this here, and having it be at MSI and getting this UNC show match out. I'm feeling really excited about this.
Yeah, throw the same thing or bigger at Worlds. The biggest reason these other Los Ratones near airport teams didn't work is these guys aren't going to commit to like a month plus long season of regular season going through. It's exhausting, right, for these guys who have other lives. But you show up for one weekend, maybe play one match or one best of 3, and you can have it on stage because it's already all set up. That's a slam dunk. I need this at every finals weekend.
I think there has to be a way to work this into tournaments, right? Whether you are either running it simultaneously as a separate type of event with a different, smaller, lesser trophy, whatever type of situation, but that it is being held, within the same broadcast, before or whatever
It's
the
all
match
set
of the
up
day
already.
is. You have to find a way to incorporate this, to bring this in, because again, it is just too good of an opportunity to pass up on all sorts of fronts. The old heads, the new heads. This is all there for you to take in the taking. Very happy about this.
It's important to teach the youngins about Teleport Revive Karthus so that they're aware of the dark technologies that used to be cooked up in the early days of League. But that is it today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you. Absolute stunners. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch you on that flippity flip.